Okay, the current business process is the one what we understood from the routine business.
Okay.
Okay, from to be is the one that what we are going to provide, which means what our client, what our say for example, you have a software company, then you have a, in this case, who is the direct client, the insurance company, then who is the end user that is going to use, agency users. So when we say this is our understanding of the current business process, and this document is being circulated to all the stakeholders who are involved in the project, a project owner, stakeholder, IT manager of the concerned insurance company, the end users of the insurance company. So to everyone it is being circulated. So if there is any gap in our understanding, okay, if there is any gap in our understanding, then they will come up with clarification. So those items will also be recorded here. Got it? Now,
Okay.
so if there are any gap in this particular case, so the to be solution is obviously going to also change, right? So if everything is fine, if whatever we have recorded is fine, and the to be solution is provided from our end, they will envision, like they will envision so how a system will look like, and then whether all their issues are being addressed or not. So if it is still not addressed, though the recorded items are fine, as is fine, but to be solution they say that we need one more feature to it. Say we need to send notification. Say we need to send confirmation email and then SMS to the concerned insured agent, insured party. So likewise, those items, if they want to have the business process to be include those items also into that, they will go ahead and include. So the proposed business is going to, previously they were having 10 minutes of time, say between anywhere between 7 to 10 minutes of time being taken to address a single insurance to take a single insurance. Now, what is the solution going to do? Proposed business is going to reduce it anywhere between 1 to 2 minutes. So which means that it is reduced to 5 times from 10 to 2 minutes. So those things you are going to propose here. So anyway, this document will be circulated to the stakeholders, to the project owners, to the vendor, to the uh, business owners of the concerned department. Say within the insurance company, they have motor, marine, like have multiple departments. So they will have each and every head, depending upon your solution that you are going to provide. If there is any impact in the other systems, so they will also come to know. So all the will be circulated with this particular document. So any clarification thereupon will be recorded. So that particular update will be done into this area within the document. That is why we have the document centrally document in place, so that all these things are recorded to one port. Okay.
Okay.
So this is basically one of the user journeys, like you have what is the system is in place and what is the user is supposed to do uh, at each and every action. So you are just going to explain the flow. Yesterday I told you, like we will be using flowchart or any other tool for that matter. A Balsamic you can use. You can use even a simple Word document, or from PowerPoint also you can prepare a flowchart and then place it over here. But that depends upon particular business analyst approach. So anyway, you are going to confirm this flow also. So though we record the items in the on text point of view, it will be more better, clear picture. It will give a clear picture if you are going to give the flow over here. Okay.
Okay.
So now this is what the exact. So the items that we have discussed on top are, are completely for the entire system. Here we are going to split it out each and every functional case. Okay. So the business requirement, what does the business require actually, and what is the solution that you are going to give. Say for example, in this case, there this particular point. So business requirement you are going to explain it here in detail. Then we have the various functional requirements that we are going to list it out here. This particular tabular column that you have now, you have it right here. That particular tabular column it shows the value, critical, description. These are in many of the cases we are not following this case. But okay, if it is followed in any of the company that you are going, yes, we are going to use. Okay, it's basically about how you are going to prioritize. What is the criticality of the requirement? Here, when we say the value, rating, and then the description. So when we say certain item is critical, which is means that it is the highest priority, then followed by high, medium, low, and futuristic approach. So any cosmetic items will come into low and medium. Highly functional item will come into critical and high. Any futuristic that is enhancement, those things will come into the future. Any out of scope items that still the client wants in order to satisfy your client if you are going to deliver that particular item as a as an matter of appreciation, as a matter of any good client relationship. So those items comes into the future. So basically you are categorizing the requirements under various categories. Okay. This is not most widely used, but but still a few companies are using it.
Okay.
Got it?
Okay.
So now the functional requirement. Why we are giving a requirement ID here is so back those days we don't have we didn't had Jira or any centralized requirement system capturing system yet. So usually we record it in Excel and then we calculate those Excel items as a requirement to each and every uh, stakeholders involved in the project. So, in order to track the requirements, it is better to have a requirement item. Okay. Then, so in the previous tabular column, we discussed about the priority, right? So that priority they are mentioning it as here, then followed by the description. I don't know about this rationale. I have not come across. This is something new to me, but uh, okay, what is the solution? So if this particular, what you are trying to give it here is, once this is in place, what it is going to do. Single first is simplified. So what is the business value? So in Agile we say that a business value. Remember I told you about product backlogs. Do you remember it? Product backlogs.
Yes.
Okay. So in the product backlog, I mentioned it. We will have, say for example, we will have 20 items in the product backlog. But for sprint one, we will take certain top priority 5, top priority 10 items, and then we'll try to address that and find the solution during the sprint one. So how are we going to find the top 5 or top 10 items? Is basically the business value it is going to add if that feature is added. Okay. So, say for example, not here, are you?
No, it's clear, Abdul.
Okay. So when I say a business value, say for example, in the gaming application, in the application that I told you, we are going to introduce the user profile feature. So when we simply say that user profile feature, what is the business value it is going to add? Though from the end user perspective, it is not going to have a big impact, but from the application point of view, the application owner point of view, say for example, these days it is like only the guest users coming in and then using the application. When you're creating a profile, it means that you are capturing the user info, you are capturing the profile image, you are capturing the personal user info from the application. So which means you are going to build a robust database so that this database data will be used in for any notifications, any discount, any offers, you can send it to them, right?
Okay.
So this is how you are going to bring in more business to the your company.
Come.
So
Okay.
yeah, so when you are trying to address a solution, once the solution approach is done, so what is the business value it is going to add? Okay, what are the areas that are being impacted? Who are the, say for example, in this case, so who are the impacted stakeholders? Generally, if you are going to have any development, like, who are the impacted developers? Always the development team is going to be the stakeholder in this case of any requirement development. Okay, if it has got, say in this case, they have got some infrastructure engineers also. That is, the support team they are involved. If any network related items, or if they are going to have any hardware related items, then it will be the infrastructure engineers will be coming to it. But for this gaming application, the application and then the user profile update, as I stated, it is going to be the development task wholly. Okay, so that is the impacted stakeholder. But naturally, this particular column is also I don't see we are using it anyway. So mainly we need a requirement, priority, the description, what is the solution that is going to give, or what is the business value it is going to add. So if you have any use cases, then reference to the use cases. There is a number. It's again a number. Okay. So likewise, we keep recording the items. So these are the one that we are discussing about the functional requirements. So you will have say 5, 10, or even 20. For a robotic application you are building, you may have even 100 or 150 items of functional requirements. It goes on this way, right?
Okay.
Okay. Then security requirements. Say for example in the gaming app, or say for example in the uh, insurance application, what is the security? So only users with the valid credentials can go into the agency application. Okay, only uh, only to the limited users. So here they have explained, right? Now widget creation, the repository shall be limited to the users of the with the team lead and the system administrator role. Similarly, what we are saying, only with the users with the agency role can go into the insurance application, right? Similarly, we need to say what are the other security aspects. Say if the same application is being used by the end user, so what we say, any visiting customer with a valid email ID, verified email ID, can go and create a insurance into the uh, create an insurance policy into the application. So likewise, we can give the security reasons. Means what is the access permission that they have. So if particular user has got this permission, what are the items that he can see? If the particular user has got this permission, what he can see. So those items we are going to explain it in the security, right?
Okay.
Okay. Then reporting requirements. So basically, when we develop a project or application, the reporting requirements here refers to from the top point of view, means from the top business executive point of view. Say, for example, in the insurance application, what will be the reporting requirement? Can you just imagine what will be the reporting requirement?
Like up to what the project is, like the status of the project.
Okay. Uh, this is you're discussing about from the system point of view and the functional aspect point of view. What would be the reporting requirement? When we say here they have given an example, like the system shall generate a weekly report of the widget name status change. So likewise, for the application, what is supposed to generate? Say you are a software company and you are working for a application provider. So that application provider wants to know. So say for every week, how many users are creating their profile. That is one report, right?
Okay.
Okay. Why? Because why it is needed?
Like for the statistics.
Yes, that is we call it as capturing the analytics info of the application. So basically, I provide a solution to the end user. At the same time, when it is provided rollout to the market, whether the application being used or not, how do I come to know? I come to know only because if I have the statistics that is being captured. Okay,
Okay.
so that is from the top management perspective point of view, or the the application provider who is going to give the solution, who is going to give the solution to the end users. Okay, so usability requirements. So in this case, say for example, if it is application, what will be the usability requirement? It should be for iOS, or it's going to be the Android. If it is going to be Android, what is the version? If it's going to be iOS, what is the version there and above? Say for example 4.0.5, say for example 8.0.2. So you mention all those usability requirements from there, so all these users can go for using. Okay,
Okay.
this is about the audit requirements. So audit requirements is basically from the system point of view, who is the user who was coming, and what was the last update. So when we go for audit trial of your application, or when you go for audit trial of the particular application, then you will have this audit trail. What is the last update? Do you know about the timestamps, latest timestamps, previous timestamps, all those things? So say for example today a record is created. Say for example Abdul, okay, created a user profile on 12th April 2018. Okay, so this is the first time he is creating. Then in that case, a record is created and the timestamp is shown there. Now, after 2 days, the same user comes in and then makes some changes to the profile. So this is the updated profile. Here in this case, we are not going to insert any record. We are going to just update the existing record. Okay. So you should have the latest timestamp to ensure that all the entries that are made to the record must be captured. So this will be captured in the backend. This is for the system requirement. Basically, this is for at the backend it is being captured and then it is placed in the tables. Okay. Always you will have NFRs. They will simply ask you, what are the NFRs you have worked on. So this is non-functional requirements. Always any project for that matter will have the functional requirements that you are going to gather from the user, from the stakeholder, from the project owners, from the concerned parties. But always there will be some non-functional requirements that is going to be in place. So those non-functional requirements shall accommodate, say for example, how many users are going to scale up at the same time. Then whether it is available to to all users, or whether it is available to few users. If it is available to few users, who are the users those who are going to use? Then if the application is going down, what is the time around in order to get back to the system? If the system is down, if the application is down, what is the time taken in order to get back to the system? So likewise, you have multiple items. Those are non-functional, though the client has not stated, but these items we need to clarify, and then so who are the, based upon the end users who are going to use certain non-functional items, you record it here, requirements you record it here, and get it clarified from there. Right?
Okay.
Kavya?
Yes, Abdul.
Okay. So those items that are not discussed directly from the client end, but still the items that are being required in order to support your application must be considered under all the non-functional requirements. Okay.
Okay.
So any acronyms that are used, any glossary terms related to it, if we are using any short notations, if you are referring to certain documents, all those items you can give it here. You can list out various items that are having some relativity. those then if you're referring to certain other flows, certain other documents, so all those items you can mention it as a name.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how a traditional, PRT documentation will come into place, and then these are the items that will be used in a DRD document format.
Okay.
But